Tonight's episode is entitled Through the Looking Glass. Through the work of Rico Suave. Yes, Rico Suave. Yeah. Sorry, you know I was going to tease you. I told you I was going to tease you. Through the work, the amazing work of Rico King, we explore the ways we are systematically erased through the retelling of Black experiences in documentaries and film. And so tonight he's going to share with us just his passion and commitment to the work and answer a few questions in our dialogue tonight. So again, Rico, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
I'm grateful to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to start with reading your bio and sit tight because the brother got some stuff going on. Just sit tight. So tonight we have Rico King, a filmmaker, actor, humanitarian, and the founding director of Black King Entertainment. While he pursued a business major during his education, Rico's passion pivoted towards the compelling world of filmmaking. Driven by the desire to raise awareness, make a difference, and leave a mark on the world, he embarked on a cinematic journey at the age of 23. How old are you? I'm joking. I don't have to say it there. At the start of his career, Rico's exceptional talent and dedication were recognized with two-time Diamond Awards at the Mount Vernon Film Festival in 2016 and 2017 for his thought-provoking documentaries. Was that in Baltimore, Mount Vernon, Baltimore?
Yeah. Mount Vernon, New York, but it was a documentary based out of Baltimore.
Aha. Okay. All right. I was like, I knew there was something there. All right. Through thought-provoking documentaries, Tears in the Bayou and Down in the Hole, one of Rico's most significant achievements was the resounding success of his documentary, Tears in the Bayou. The film provided an unflinching look at the impact of gun violence on the city of Houston, resonating deeply with audiences worldwide. The documentary garnered over 4 million views on YouTube, demonstrating Rico's ability to use storytelling to inspire conversations and raise awareness about crucial social issues. Beyond his documentary work, Rico King's versatility as a filmmaker was showcased in the triumph of his urban crime drama and local Houston favorite, G-Code the series. Demonstrating his entrepreneurial spirit, Rico established an independent distribution chain spanning from Houston to Boston. The series bolstered Rico's reputation, and its success also caught the attention of local investors. Rico used this momentum and capital to launch Black King Entertainment. Woo-hoo! Shout out! Yes! His leadership advocacy for the No Shoot Zone initiative, geared toward preventing gun violence in some of Houston's most vulnerable communities, led to the city of Houston, wait for it, y'all, wait for it, declaring June 7th as Rico King Day in his honor. I mean, you see, when we bring guests, we bring them. We bring them. With the visionary outlook, Rico King aspires to leave a profound legacy, and dare I say you've already done that, my brother, you have. A profound legacy as one of the greatest filmmakers of his generation. He aims to use storytelling as an impactful instrument to foster empathy, understanding, and positive change in our society. Crib community, give a warm welcome to Rico King like nobody can. Crib community, yes, and yes. You've got stars, you've got claps, you've got smiles and celebration in the chat. I don't know if you can see it. And
I can see it. There you go. Yeah, shout out to everybody leaving a comment.
Oh, all right. So let's get into it. You ready?
Let's get it.
All right. So I'm just reflecting on your journey as a producer, an actor, an artist, and an activist. What motivated you to select this particular medium, filmmaking, as a means to shed light on the persistent erasure of Black bodies?
Well, I watched your other videos, so I'm trying to up my vocabulary. You have
Oh,
some
stop
distinguished
it.
guests on here.
Come on, it's just you and I having some tea.
Like, so I started, it all started when I wanted to do good in school. You know, I was really distracted. You know, I was one of those kids who always used to, you know, hang around the neighborhood, get in a little trouble here and there. And I decided to stay focused. And I knew that if I was distracted with good things, it would have good results. So I saw a flyer on a play at my college, and it said, you know, audition for this play, and you know, we rehearse after school, and then we'll go to a play festival. I said, cool, let me try it. So I remember walking into the room, and you know, hearing everybody being so eloquent with their talking, and they're reading so good, and I'm like stumbling on my words. I'm like, there's no way, this is so crazy. I don't know why I even came here. And then I actually made the play. Hello. And then we went to Central Texas, a city called Weatherford, Texas, and it was a festival, and I won an acting award.
Hello.
So, yeah, right. I was like, look, my first play, winning an acting award, I might be going places, right? So, went back to Houston, and then I couldn't find nobody to act for, no movies, no shows. All the agents were looking at me kind of crazy. I used to wear like 5, 6X t-shirts back then. And then I just decided to just start my own. Like I just bought like a $300 camera. Wow. And the best subjects I know at that time was the stuff was going around in the neighborhood I was living in. So that's what drew me to the subject matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It was funny. I was just talking with a dear friend of mine, Sean McGuffey, who will be on next week, and we were just talking about almost the necessity for entrepreneurial spirit that so many of us have out of necessity, right? Out of necessity of making a way, sometimes out of no way.
I mean, you know, they don't take us seriously a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And we don't have enough people that look like us representing us in, you know, in those spaces. So sometimes you have to create it, you know? You got to knock doors down. You know, that's what
thank you for stepping out on faith and doing that. Appreciate you. So I wanted to kind of take a deeper dive into the title of tonight's episode, which kind of fits into our larger theme of Strange Fruit, through the looking glass, thinking about the looking glass being, you know, your experiences both behind the camera and in front of it, and just how it gives you an incredible vantage point into the lives of Black folk. And I really wanted to sort of reiterate to the, you know, crib community, you know, you've noticed that one of the ways we like to ensure that the work, the research, the people that we work with is made accessible to our community, is certainly to host Instagram Live, to do short documentaries as well. But through that looking glass, through that framework, we're able to see the palpable experiences of some of our most vulnerable communities. And so I'd like to hear your perspective on how documentaries in particular have functioned as a means of retelling the narratives of Black people, again, with a particular focus on ensuring that the narratives of Black people are about centering their voices rather than excluding them. In particular, how do you believe film has played such a critical role in facilitating this retelling of our truths, and how does it compare to other methods of storytelling? I know that's a long question, but the fabric of it is just, you know, what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Hopefully my ADD doesn't kick in. So
I got you.
Like filmmaking is really, really important. Like, you know, Black people, we are big consumers of media, you know, and a lot of times our stories are told by people who aren't, you know, genuine, authentic, or people who don't have, you know, they have an ulterior motive. You know, I remember going to Baltimore for Down in the Hole, and CNN was covering it like these guys, CNN, BBC, Fox, all of them were doing the same thing, covering like the citizens of Baltimore like they're some type of savages or like it was a jungle or something like that, you know.
I was there.
So right,
Yeah.
you know,
Crazy.
I was like, you know, I gotta go and get the word from the street, from the people of Baltimore,
Right.
so they can express their pain. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, by the time the riot happened, you know, you're judging him for that moment, but you're ignoring the 20 years prior. Where
You better tell it.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a coke can, shaking a coke can for 20 years,
Tell
and
it.
then even the littlest hole can make that coke can explode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then you asking yourself, why is this person acting like this? Or, you know, or why is this can just, you know, spewing all type of liquid out of it,
Yeah.
but ignoring what you just did for the last 20 and maybe 200, 300, 400 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not only in America, but also in Africa. Because don't forget, colonization is the same thing as our Africans and Jamaicans and Islanders went through the same thing as our folks out here, in America, you know?
You better tell it. I'm jumping out of my seat. I'm trying to be cool because I'm on the show, but you better tell a thing. You better tell a thing.
Yeah, shout out to everybody commenting. I'm trying to stay focused with my sister over here, but shout out, I love y'all too, man. I love Toronto, Baltimore, A-Styles going down, man.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. That incensed me to no end that we were so quick to call individuals thugs and savages, and pillaging, when pillaging of people have been done in so many ways, right? Structural inequity is a form of violence, period, full stop. And that is what we were seeing was an outcry, real outcry, of anger and frustration.
They might show a mom crying for like 30 seconds, a family mourning for 30 seconds, but it doesn't end for the family right there in that 30-second news clip, you know. And it's our job as Black filmmakers to show our stories and to show the lives after, how it affects not only the family but the whole community, you know. And just because you know, one city, whatever happens in Baltimore affects Toronto, it affects Montreal, it affects, you know, a Black kid from Montreal seeing his brothers, you know, being brutalized or murdered. It could affect his image of what he has to be in the future, you know. So it's very important for us to, you know, make sure we shape in our narrative and making sure, you know, we live forever together through our movies and shows and stuff, and you know.
There's so much I could say. I'm just going to try to move on to the next question, but I am right there with you. I am right there with you, as are many of the members of Crip Community. You see 100, you see fire, you see hearts in the chat. I want to talk about, just sort of riffing off of what you just said, and talk about the depiction of Black bodies in particular. Specifically, I want to get your thoughts, because there's been a lot of debate on the imagery of Black people being violently erased and shown through social media and film. In particular, thinking about where do you situate yourself in terms of the thoughts about the constant viewing of the erasure of Black bodies on these platforms. Some say it's a means to understand and or issue a call to action to both prevent chronic exposure of cumulative Black death. And some talk about the fact that it's a means of highlighting a way to intervene relevant to the traumatic impact of Black communities. What are your thoughts on the images over social media streams and the value, if you will?
That's a really good question. It's very complicated. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you have to show the reality.
I agree.
But you also have to show that Black people are also, you know, resilient and also beautiful. And we have so many different interactions that are so positive. You know, we have barbecues, we have Thanksgiving dinners, we have football Sundays, and we all get together and act crazy. Nothing wrong happens.
That's right.
Right? Like in the comments right now, we're just so much love, right? So we have to do, but we can't ignore the realities of the communities, right? There's several kids who have never gone to the eye doctor and don't even see what's on the blackboard, and get told that they're not smart enough, or blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, they're getting to life of crime because nobody cared, you know? Like Tupac said, unless they're shooting, nobody notices the youth, right? Me against the world. So now, so we have to show them before the shots. So, you know, we can notice them and show them love before, just to, you know, prevent. But like personally, I you know, I highlight, you know, the violence, right? But I do have a plan on showing Black resiliency and Black excellency in my next few documentaries. But I just have to tell the stories so so we can take our, you know, the genocide that's happening. It's you know, I want us to respond to the violence in our community like how they responded to COVID-19. You know what I mean?
You said a word. Or two. You said a word.
Yeah.
You said a word.
You know? So
you said a word.
We just have to find a balance.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Can we use that same framework if we are truly each other's keeper? Can we use that same framework of understanding?
Because violence is like a virus, right?
It is.
It spreads exactly like a virus.
It is.
Yeah. So we have to use the same framework. We have to treat it seriously. I don't want my neighbor's kid to die before I realize that it could happen to my kid or whatever. You know what I mean? We just have to make a change immediately, right? We're losing so many bright doctors, Martin Luther Kings, you know, revolutionaries, chemists and scientists, and you know, and it's time to take a stand, and we got to do it together because we should stop counting on the government much. You know what I mean? Because we got each other, and that's what the No Shoot Zone was about. We got each other. We got enough people in the community to make a difference. Only we can change our situation.
And yet, I think the inoculation or the prevention of the virus is quite simple.
Right.
We only need listen to the community to listen to their truths, and they have the answers, which is, you know, affordable housing, affordable healthcare, equitable access to employment, salary, etc.
Just listen to the community. Listen,
right?
That itself.
That's it. That's it. So it's really, really hard if the answers are that simple to give the nature of the virus being allowed to thrive a rational thought process. It really is quite a conundrum, if you will. So
right. There you go with the big words. There you go with the big words.
You know, I'm trying to be like really polite about it. So I want to talk about, in particular, your experience working both in the United States and Canada. You know, you've produced and directed films, again, in the United States and Canada, with a particular focus, as you mentioned, on the impact of firearm injury and fatality. What would you say are some of the similarities, and what are some of the differences doing this work with intention to center the erasure of Black bodies in the US versus Canada?
So I get asked this question a lot.
Me too.
Everybody wants to know the difference between the US, right, and Canada. The way I look at it, a mother in Toronto, just like a mother in Oakland, that has that empty room that their son, daughter, husband, brother, sister used to sleep in, you know, any family member with an empty room. The pain hurts the same. It doesn't matter if you're in Paris. It doesn't matter if you're in Nova Scotia somewhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Louisiana somewhere. The pain is the same. You know, so I don't like to talk about how different it is. I like to bring us together by talking about how similar it is. You know, who am I to say somebody else's pain is less valid just because they're from here, or you know, you know, you could say Houston is much more violent than Toronto, but what about Mexico City? So Mexico City, you know, are they going to tell us in Houston that we don't have enough violence? You know, in Rio de Janeiro or Johannesburg, you know, so it can get worse and worse. What's happening right now in Palestine, you know, I think the pain in the interviews of the parents, the family members, is literally all the same. And I think I'd rather us focus on how to reduce that and less families go through the same thing. Yeah.
You know,
I hope I did justice to that question, by the way.
listen, it was you being honest and forthright, and that's the way we roll here at the crib. But I agree with you on most of that. In particular, when we think about, you know, who is being impacted, right? The disproportionate reality of Black people experiencing firearm injury and fatality, actually homicide, is across the board, both in Canada and the U.S. It's Black people are at the top. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, and that's the history. You know, we let's never forget the history. Like I just said, like we had colonization, we had slavery, all at the same time. We had redlining, the systemic racism. It just doesn't go away. You know what I'm saying?
No.
These are the effects of all that. You know, and from the government to the corporations to people to us ourselves, everybody's accountable for what's going on. And it's sad that we make up a lot of the statistics, but we also made up majority of the statistics of the pain, the you know, slavery and oppression.
Right.
For some weird reason, they picked on us, but I know why. You know.
Well, we can definitely do another episode of that. right. But I also think it's interesting. I think you and I are in unique positions, being Black Americans living in Canada, so forth and so on, or having lived in both countries. I think it affords us a very unique perspective. At least I found that when I moved here in 2018, you know, I think violence in the GTA was just starting to sort of pick up. And so the folks in the GTA were seeing things that, you know, we had already seen in the 1990s, right? We'd already seen this and experienced this with the Freddie Grays and of the world. So it definitely puts us in, I think, a unique position to share some of our learning experiences, to share the amazing knowledge and wisdom that you know, have obtained sort of working in spaces and places where other people haven't gone before, and sharing that knowledge to hopefully enhance the prevention and intervention strategies that are being built here in Canada. So I really appreciate you continuing right through your work to help uplift communities wherever, Black communities wherever they are, in that way. So thank you for that.
Thank you
for that.
Thank you for all the work you're doing. I want to be part of the crib so bad.
Look. I mean, you're on. I mean, I think we're halfway there. You just need some swag. I'll make sure that happens. I'll get you some swag.
Learn how to dance a little.
I'll get you some swag. So, last question.
Okay.
So you and I have had several discussions about this, kind of like when we run into each other at Yates. Shout out Yates. What's up, Yates?
Devon Jones.
Just about the importance of our work and how we view the importance of our work. And it's clear to me that as a Black producer, an actor, an artist, and an activist, you're deeply impacted by the people you encounter and the stories you uplift. With that sense of thoughtful connection and being privy to the violent, traumatic experiences of so many people who look just like you and I, how are you impacted by the work? How do you care for yourself while doing the necessary work?
Wow. First and foremost, I'd like to shout out everybody that's ever been in front of me, giving me their story. We're more than just like people in a film. Like we're more than co-workers, or you know, they're more than subjects to me. I'm going to several Thanksgiving dinners when I get to Houston, because we're
that's
we're family. People in Baltimore, every city I go to, every city I've stayed in. Like my boy Steve Short over there, it's all love. Like it's we love each other, and it's more than filmmaking. I'm not a documentary filmmaker who's going to get your story and just put it somewhere and just let it go. No, we're family forever. In terms of dealing with the stress, not only just my own lived experience, I read that question. I didn't even know how to answer it, because honestly, a lot of us, especially black males, we don't know how to deal with the pressures and the sadness. You know what I mean? I lost a lot of friends in recent years. Most of my friends actually died. And I remember coming to your show, and I was looking at these brave individuals say their story, and I'm like, wow, they're braver than me. Everybody I've interviewed is braver than me because I don't even know how to tell my own. What I try to do is like print out pictures,
Yeah.
shout my dead homies or dead family members out on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show you a few pictures. This is my big brother Tyree. He got murdered last year summertime. But we shared so many good moments together. So I got this picture to remind me of him. This is a young lady that got murdered, was supposed to be in my film. She got her boyfriend unfortunately killed her. A lot of us don't talk about how many women are murdered, femicide and stuff like that. My homeboy J-Rock, a neighbor of mine, we used to go drop our kids to school together, hang around together. He helped me build a company. Right here, we were promoting the company first, a few movies. My boy, he bought me my first bottle at the club. He he bought about 10 DVDs off of me just to support. Got brutally murdered, man, not far from my house. Rest in peace, my boy Oso, DC, the DMV. Rest in peace. Kev right here, man. One of my best friends, little brother, part of the squad back in the day. Rest in peace, Jay Skills. He helped me put up a lot of these movies too. He got killed, some home invasion, and they want to take his stuff and they took his life too. This is our first artist. We used to do music in my company. She got murdered too. Shout out her. Shout out my boy 360, lost his life last year. So just to show you, this is what I do. I got a collection of pictures, and there's so many other people who I couldn't get pictures of because they died before the digital age. But that's what I do. I just look at the pictures and just remember the good memories we share together because these are people that are really, really close to me.
Rico, thank you. You didn't have to share them with us, all of us this evening, but I'm so glad you did. And I'm so glad you have commemorated their memory and their life in so many beautiful ways through your work and through the way you authentically enter the space each and every time. Not everybody does that way. So people are watching the way that you move and your authentic spirit, your genuine spirit, and your commitment to serve in this way. And so I cannot thank you enough. Cannot thank you enough.
I cannot thank you enough for giving me a platform where I can share, and come my fallen loved ones, and and we're going to continue making sure not everybody can just live out their full potential. That's the best way for us to keep their memories alive. Use their the pain the pain of losing them. We're going to keep it, turn that into energy to fix it for the future and for for our people.
Until our last breath. Until our
last breath. For the world, I free all my sons.
There you go. There you go. And
I got a little swag.
The swag. On that note, Crib community, Rico, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know this is just the beginning of our continued conversation. Bringing him to class. We gonna do some things. We're gonna do some things. So thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. I can't.
Thank you, my sister.
Thank you, and I cannot.
Much love.
Crib community. Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Rico.
I said much love to you, man. I
much
really
love.
Appreciate it. My first.
Back at you. Crib community, as always, from our crib to yours.
You see it. Forever.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Crib community, from our crib to yours. Stay safe and keep well. Good night.